Planet Dolan.
From asking about sex toys to threatening to murder a family, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest phone calls we've ever gotten. I'm Hellbent, and I feel like I swallowed a bucket of razor blades today. Also, I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Grogeba. Back when Spinal Palm was in 5th grade, he answered the phone to some dude using a nondescript Mediterranean accent, asking about whether or not his pizza had been delivered. He was home alone, and he definitely hadn't put in a pizza order, so he promptly let the guys on the other line know. They started to get upset, saying that he was lying to them and was trying to get out of having to pay them. Spinal Palm kept nervously telling them,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was then that they began their rant on how seriously they took their work, mentioning how pizza was a very serious and important part of their lives. They described in vivid detail how they would gently make the pizza dough, massage it, make love to the sauce, rub the pizza all over their bodies, and sleep with it. Spinal Palm managed to outweird them with some ridiculous replies and got them to hang up. It's still a phone call that he will never truly forget. Number 9 was submitted by Fizzo. Gergak was going to a local convenience store to get some super glue for his 3D printing business at school. As he was about to leave his house, some random person called. He said, "Hello, friend. Would you like some dildos or sex toys? Or do you need directions to a nearby strip club?" Being only 10, Gergak innocently asked,
What's a dildo?
The man then noticed how young he was and said, your mom would know. Then he hung up. Gergak was confused, so when he got to the store, he asked the manager,
What's a dildo?
Then she got a really funny smile on her face and turned bright pink. She said, "You'll learn later on." When Gergak got home, he was still really confused, so he looked it up on the computer. He realized why those guys were being so weird. Number 8 was submitted by Royal Flush King. 2 years ago, Mikhailum was sitting at home playing games on his phone when it started ringing. He didn't recognize the number, but answered it anyway. All he could hear was someone breathing into the phone. Mikhailum said,
Hello?
Whoever it was knew his name, and he could tell it was a prank call, so he asked,
Who is this?
The person replied with, "I fucked your mom," trying to use a deep voice. Mikhailum said,
What are you talking about? My mom's dead.
This stopped him in his tracks. He started stuttering, What? No, she's not. Before he could finish replying, Mikhailum yelled,
What the fuck is wrong with you, you insensitive piece of shit? Who the fuck are you? I'm about to get the police, you fucking bastard.
The man started to panic. He said, Wait, what? No! With that, he hung up, and Mikhailum never found out who it was, but him and his mom laughed about it later. Number 7 was submitted by Slave of My Cat. While Doopy was working as a clerk in a grocery store's bakery department, she got a phone call. The person on the other end couldn't have been older than 6. The child asked, Why y'all's cake prices so high? Doopy explained,
The corporation sets the prices, not the individual store.
Then the kid said, Well, me and my family are gonna shop at Walmart from now on. Not willing to beg a kid to stay, Doopy said,
Okay.
There was a silence for 2 seconds. Then a manly woman yelled, Yeah, well, you sound like a bitch! And then immediately hung up. Number 6 was submitted by Believe in Nope. Snoopy was at home texting her friend when she got a call from an unknown number. She answered it and it sounded like a guy much older than her. The guy said, Hey Claire, I wanted to meet up later. When's a good time? Snoopy explained to the man that he must have the wrong number and that she wasn't Claire. He apologized and ended the call. 3 minutes later, he called again, but said in a creepy tone, I'm gonna murder you and your entire family and then cover you all in shaving cream. Needless to say, Snoopy hung up and didn't come out of her room for a while. He kept calling till around midnight, then stopped and never called since. Number 5 was submitted by Ken the Noun. A few years ago, Pringle was sitting in his room when the phone rang. It was a number he didn't recognize, but he picked it up anyway. When he answered, a middle-aged sounding woman came on and said,
Hi, who's this? Is Thomas there?
Pringle said, "Wrong number," and she hung up. Later on, his phone rang again, and it was the same woman asking for Thomas. Pringle said, "No, you have the wrong number. Who is this anyway?" In an angry tone, she said,
His mother. Do you have his phone?
Pringle sighed and said, "No, this is my phone. This has been my phone and phone number for at least a year. I don't even know it, Thomas. You got the wrong number." She read off the number she thought she was calling to prove her point, and it wasn't even remotely close to Pringle's phone number. He told her the number she was actually calling, and then she hung up. A minute later, she called again, and Pringle answered it. He said, "Me again," hung up, and blocked her number. Number 4 was submitted by the legendary Toaster. One time, Honeybits saw her sister leave the room and go into the bathroom. She was told to never touch her phone, but being the child she was, she went into her room and saw that her phone was vibrating. Honeybits picked it up and said,
Hello?
She heard a voice say, "We are gonna have so much fun, babe. First we drink, then we go into my bedroom and, you know." Honeybits freaked out because if she told her mom, her sister would hate her forever. So she never did. Her boyfriend was drunk and thought her voice was her sister's, so Honeybits hung up and put the phone back on the bed. She walked out of the room quickly, having learned a lesson to never touch her sister's phone again. Number 3 was submitted by Pink Toasters, Please. The weirdest phone call Sid ever got was when a random person called and said,
Hi, this is Pandora from Pornhub. You owe us $112 from watching white amateur blonde girls getting brutally fucked. Please put your payment onto...
But Sid said,
I don't watch porn.
She said,
Oh, is this not Civil Spider?
He said,
No.
Then she said,
Oh, I apologize for this mix-up. I'm hoping this won't happen again. Have a good day, sir.
When the call ended, Sid screamed to his friend Civil Spider.
Civil, why are we watching porn?
He scared the living shit out of him. Number 2 was submitted by Beat the Panda 69. After Andy and her boyfriend Adam just got done doing the deed, she got a call from an unknown caller. He said, "Are you home?" Andy answered.
Yes?
The caller said, "That was a nice show," then hung up. About 5 minutes later, a rock crashed through her window. He called again, but Andy only heard him breathing. Suddenly, the power went out, and she got yet another call. The caller said, "I see you." Then Andy got a text on Facebook from an unknown user, and it was a picture of Andy in the dark with a hand in the corner of the screen holding a knife. Then she got a call, and he asked, "Wanna play?" At that point, Andy lost her shit, so she called 911. After that, he called again and said, "Big mistake. Look out of your living room window." Just then, she heard an upstairs window break. A few minutes later, the cops arrived, but they didn't find the guy. What was the weirdest phone call I've ever gotten? One time, a person I knew, let's not call him a friend, had to stay over at my place. It was either stay here or sleep under the bridge, and I couldn't just let him sleep under the bridge. He asked if he could use my phone, and I'm thinking this increases the chances of him getting out of my house more quickly, so I let him do it. The next day, he picks up and leaves, so I'm happy for him. He's out of here, he's got a place to sleep, I did a good deed, everything's good. Then the phone rings, and this guy with a throbbing cock of a voice answers, and you know that means a lot if I'm saying it, and he just starts screaming at me. He said, "You stay away from Becky! She's my girl, I know what you've been doing, you jackass!" I told him I didn't know who Becky was, and his response was, "I know you've been calling her! I know, I'm gonna come down there and kick your fucking ass!" I told him that I let a friend borrow my phone and that it must have been him. His response was, "Don't you fucking lie to me! I can hear in your voice, you're a fucking liar! I'm gonna come over there!" This is the abridged version, by the way. It was actually about a 15-minute phone call. Anyhow, I was done listening to him, but I was a little bit pissed off at his attitude, so I told him, yeah, I fucked Becky. I'm gonna come fuck her again. What are you gonna do about it? He kept screaming at me, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna come over there right now and fuck Becky in front of you. And his response was, Becky's not even here right now, asshole. And I said, oh, she's not? She must be over at Craig's place. Then he screamed, who's Craig? Who the fuck is Craig? And I said, I don't know who Craig is, I just know where Craig lives, and that's where Becky goes. I was bored of the screaming, yelling, and death threats, so I took the phone, placed it next to a cheap PC speaker, cranked the volume all the way up, and played the Pokemon theme song, and played it again and again and again every time he called back. I haven't heard from him since, so I'd like to think he's on a magical journey looking for Craig's house. Oh yeah, and if your name is Craig and you run into a guy that sounds like that, ask him how Becky's doing. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What is your craziest experience with a telemarketer? Let us know on the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown.
This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys.
And that's all I got for now. I'm gonna go over to Craig's house.